Welcome to the AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating equality, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
Nikki Haley is having a moment in the Republican presidential race.
Who has decided who they're going to be with?
The question is whether she can turn it into a winning one. That's precisely what Haley was trying to do today in New Hampshire, working to solidify herself as the leading alternative to Donald Trump. Handshake by handshake, table by table, the former South Carolina governor is making her case in increasingly urgent terms.
We're right there, so it's just about getting as much support as we can. We have a country to save.
Yes.
We have a country to save.
With the former president still dominating the Republican primary, Haley is focused for now on the race for second place, rising through the ranks in the narrow lane of anyone but Trump. She has settled into a solid second in South Carolina, is battling for runner-up in New Hampshire, and is locked in a tie in Iowa with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, polls show, with Trump holding a commanding lead in all 3 early voting states.
Her numbers are moving, surging. There is one thing I know about politics is there is such thing as political momentum. I think she's built a lot of political momentum coming out of the first and second debate.
New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu is keeping a close eye on Haley as he decides which Republican to endorse. The third debate next week, he believes, could be a turning point. Haley and DeSantis are on a collision course, a preview of which has been playing out in dueling ads from their respective super PACs.
Governor Nikki Haley helped the Chinese company set up shop 5 miles from our base on land she gave them.
Ron DeSantis, he's lying because he's losing.
Heidi Mahoney is a Republican ready for change. She considered DeSantis, but is sold on Haley.
I think she's tough. I think we need that. I think we need her strength.
Mahoney concedes it's an uphill battle persuading Republicans to move beyond Trump, but she says Haley has the best chance to win back the White House. Haley is campaigning with an air of confidence, eager to weigh in last night on The Daily Show about whether DeSantis wears lifts in his cowboy boots.
I've always said don't wear them if you can't run in them, so we'll see if he can run in them.
Yet she strikes a dead serious tone on foreign policy challenges, like Israel and Ukraine.
When you look, there's an unholy alliance. It's Iran, Russia, and China. And let me tell you, I've never been as worried as I am today that America is acting like it's September 10th all over again. And we better remember what September 12th felt like, because we're there.
She's embracing the momentum, but told us her defining moment is yet to come.
My moment will be on Election Day.
Former President Donald Trump's 2 eldest sons in court with smiles and thumbs up for the cameras. Eric and Donald Trump Jr. testifying in New York in a civil fraud trial, accused, along with their father, of falsely inflating the value of properties like Trump's previously owned hotel in Washington, Trump Tower in Chicago, and their Miami resort by hundreds of millions of dollars.
Before even having a day in court, I'm apparently guilty of fraud for relying on my accountant to do, wait for it, accounting.
The brothers, executive vice presidents at the Trump Organization, where they worked most of their adult lives, took over the company when Donald Trump was elected president in 2016.
Don and Eric are going to be running the company.
Donald Trump Jr. testifying he still believes the financial statements submitted in the case were, quote, materially correct, and, quote, though Judge Arthur Engoron already ruled the valuations were false. Both brothers saying they did not prepare the financial statements for bank loans. I never worked on the statement of financial condition, Eric Trump said. I didn't know anything about it really until this case came into fruition. When pressed by prosecutors in a tense exchange, Eric acknowledged emails from a decade ago appeared to show he knew about those very financial statements. So you did know about your father's annual financial statement as of August 20, 2013, didn't you? The prosecutor asked. It appears that way, yes, Eric Trump said. Trump Jr. told the court he relied on accounting and legal teams to assure him the documents were correct when he signed them. I'm fine with the bank relying on that information, he testified. I don't know that I intended for them to do anything. I'm signing off on it.
The banks in question made hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, think about this, right? They are not claiming that they are victims. They are not saying that they were misled.
Trump Jr. said he didn't fact-check the value of properties, including his father's apartment, which the Attorney General alleges was described as more than 3 times larger in square feet than it actually is. The New York Attorney General says the fraud got the Trumps better loan and insurance policy terms.
The evidence is clear, and that is he inflated his statements of financial interests to enrich himself and his family.
It's a case former President Trump called fake and fully discredited.
This trial is a disgrace. Should have never been brought.
If the judge rules against the Trumps, they could be forced to pay back millions and lose their business license in the state.
For the first time, we are seeing Republican anger spill out into public view, trying to pressure Tommy Tuberville to back down over his blockade that has now led to nearly 400 military nominees to be stalled, unable to get their promotions. But Tuberville tells me tonight he is not backing down. Tommy Tuberville, defiant.
So has any of this caused you to change your approach?
No. Despite growing anger from within the GOP over the Alabama senator's 9-month blockade, denying nearly 400 military personnel their promotions, all over his demand that the Pentagon scrap its policy, reimbursing service members traveling out of state for reproductive services, including abortions.
This is doing great damage to our military. I don't say that lightly.
We're going to look back at this episode and just be stunned at what a national security suicide mission this became.
For the first time, GOP senators taking their fury to the floor, trying to shame Tuberville and force him to allow key personnel to take their jobs. But Tuberville single-handedly blocked 61 nominees from getting confirmed.
With that, Madam President, I object. I object.
Is there objection?
Madam President.
The senator from Alabama.
I object.
Even as GOP leaders are ready to move on.
But I think Senator Tuberville's made his point.
If you want to do this, go after the people who are making the policy, not the people who have nothing to do with it and are simply there trying to do their jobs and keep our country safe.
Do you support his stand?
I want to get these people confirmed.
Many Republicans raising alarms.
It's a dangerous time. We need to field our entire national security team, including these military officers who deserve their promotions.
We're going to see repercussions from this for probably the next decade to come.
Yet some blaming their own leaders.
What should the Republican leaders do?
Like actually get a solution? I mean, what are they good for? I mean, what's Mitch McConnell doing here?
The former Auburn football coach insists his holds are having no impact on the military and says he is simply trying to kill a policy he says is illegal.
But it's the only way I can get their attention. And I've told you all along, I hate to have to do this. But somebody has got to listen to us, okay?
Tuberville's hold gaining new attention after the Marine Corps Commandant Eric Smith was hospitalized. He had been working 18-hour days and 2 jobs to fill a vacancy caused by the Tuberville blockade.
Aren't you making it harder for them to do their job?
Yeah, 2,000 people that work for him, okay? So, and as somebody said, he's working 18 hours a day. Jack Reed blamed me for his heart attack. Come on, give me a break. This guy's going to work 18, 20 hours a day no matter what. That's what we do. You know, I did that for years.
Now, Tuberville has said for months that the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer can simply schedule votes on individual nominations, something Schumer has not wanted to do given the time that it takes to do so. Schumer now is trying to take matters in his own hands, trying to change the Senate rules in order to advance a whole swoop of nominees, doing it in one large block. But there's one issue. He needs Republican support to do so, meaning 60 votes in the United States Senate. Expect next week to be a huge issue as Republicans meet behind closed doors to debate their next steps, and Schumer trying to pressure the Republicans to back this change.
The skies of northern Gaza illuminated with flares and explosives Thursday night. The bombings, which started shortly after last month's Hamas attack on Israel, have devastated the region, leaving many sections in shambles and claiming more than 9,000 lives.
The school was bombed and we got scared and kept crying. Then we kept walking, and went to the other school. It was very horrifying. We were scared.
President Joe Biden and other U.S. officials are warning Israel that the global outcry about the humanitarian suffering in Gaza could make it difficult for Israel to move forward with its military goals.
They are making efforts to try to minimize civilian casualties. That does not mean, and I did not say, that they aren't still causing some, that their operations aren't still causing some. They are, and each one's tragic.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives passed a bill that provides more than $14 billion in aid to Israel. The GOP-led bill rescinds funds that had been allocated to the IRS and would be separate from any legislation on aid to Ukraine. However, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says the bill is flawed.
Instead, we will work together on our own bipartisan emergency aid package that includes aid to Israel, Ukraine, competition with the Chinese government, and humanitarian aid for Gaza.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.